CryptoSys NFT rug pull for her, Carter, and some others made off with $1.5 million in Ethereum.
It's crazy. Somehow, anytime there's a scam, it's like this interconnected web. Like, all of the scammers that currently exist have always existed. Carter Jameson. I'm unfamiliar with that name.
Carter Jameson is someone who's been seen with Chief Keef, Kodak Black, Lil Durk, Bobby Shmurda, Summer Rae, Lil Yachty, Steve Will Do It, Cole Bennett, and many other celebrities. But how?
I'm gonna just take a guess. Knowing nothing about this, he paid to take all of those pictures with those celebrities. He's a trust fund kid with a lot of access to money. So he puts on a front that he's actually a popular guy, like friends with all these rappers, and he uses it to try and promote. I'm just going to do crypto. I think crypto's easiest. Lock it in.
How does he know all these people? Who is Carter Jameson? Well, his website says he's a 19-year-old serial entrepreneur, founder, and CEO of the digital marketing company Gateway Agency. But I think he's a liar. So to understand how this guy has made millions from lying, misleading, and scamming, we have to dig a little bit deeper. Also, I just want to clarify, this video isn't necessarily to hate on him, and I don't want you guys sending hate his way because that's not really what I'm about. But I do think it's worth bringing awareness to this because this guy and other people like him have made tons of money from deceiving others. So I'm hoping that if nothing else, this video helps people not be so easily deceived. So Carter Jameson recently started...
Oh, actually, damn, fuck. I'm starting to change my mind. Maybe it's not crypto. Maybe he sells like courses. Maybe he's one of those gurus, like get rich quick guru kind of shit. Because he's a 19-year-old entrepreneur, owner of Gateway Agency or some shit. Whatever other imaginary made-up garbage he comes up with. I'll stick it out on crypto. I won't backpedal.
Started getting a ton of attention when people found out he was dating Ali Lottie. If you're not familiar with Ali Lottie, she was the girl that Juice WRLD was dating when he passed. Fans were upset about this when they found out, but not necessarily because she moved on. They were more so upset because Carter was wearing a watch that Juice apparently gave Ali, and he posted it on his Instagram story with a Juice WRLD song. He was also wearing one of Juice WRLD's shirts that was apparently a one-of-one. He was flexing a bag that Ali said Juice had custom made for her, and he was also seen on TikTok showing off Juice WRLD's house and home studio. This understandably upset many fans, and it led to many TikToks about it and a few YouTubers covering it. But personally, I'm pretty uninterested when it comes to YouTube drama like this, so I was pretty uninterested about the situation. That was until I saw a thread by @Zifa on Twitter. In the thread, he basically exposed Carter for being a scammer and running some really shady businesses. After I read that, I checked out his Instagram and I saw him hanging out with all of these rappers and well-known people, which really piqued my interest. I had a lot of questions. How does this kid know all these people? Who is he? Why does he have so many followers? Is he really even a scammer? Well,
I'm gonna go ahead and take a stab at it. He does not have all of these followers legitimately, 100% botted to a certain level. A lot of people on Instagram do that. How does this kid know all these people? He doesn't. He pays to be near them. And who is he? Just a kid with a lucky spawn, born to a wealthy family. He's the resub Talma, Dino, Janali, Zlethos, and Kev. And the bit Gimpy. Hey Gimpy, hope you're doing well. I'm not sure, Gimpy. Thanks to the bit, Zach.
Is he really even a scammer? Well, after I did a little bit of digging, I was able to find out the answers to all of those questions. So Carter Jameson is another one of those social media gurus you see online, but instead of selling you a course, he's selling you popularity. You might notice he has decent engagement and relationships with well-known people. You check out his website and it looks very professional, and he even has multiple articles written about him by Forbes, USA Today, The Sun, and more. He's a self-proclaimed digital marketing guru who promises to scale your digital footprint to the
My second guess was the right one. Son of a bitch. Yeah, maybe crypto's too outdated now. Everyone just immediately conflates anything meta, Web3, whatever with a scam. Rightfully so, by the way. Like, yeah, if he's a modern scammer, he would have had to adapt into the guru space, which is now the money maker. Oh, well.
largest of its potential. And from what you see on his profile, it looks like he knows what he's doing. At a glance, he seems very successful, the type of guy you might want to learn from or work with. But that is where you're wrong. Everything that makes him look legitimate upon further inspection actually proves his guiltiness. Botted engagement. Before his engagement increased 100 times because of Juice WRLD fans hate bombing him, he could be seen botting his account, as you can see from all these fake comments. And if that isn't proof enough,
no, this is really fire.
Out botted engagement
Shit's
on
flames.
one of his Twitter accounts. And here on his YouTube channel, you can see over 1,000 botted comments on one of his YouTube shorts that only has 600 likes. So it's safe to assume that he's botting likes and possibly followers.
They're just very passionate. They forgot to like.
When I first saw on his website that he had a ton of articles featuring him and his business, it really made me think he was legitimate. But when you read the fine print, you can actually see that some of them are paid for. One says featured partner, one says promoted content, and another even says this story is paid for by an advertiser.
I actually had no idea that that shit was there. Obviously, a lot of journalism is paid content. I mean, is what it is. I didn't know that they actually disclosed it in those cases. I thought they still kind of kept that under wraps. But I guess they also got hit by some new guidelines or something, or maybe I've just been oblivious to those notices.
Members of the editorial and news staff of the USA Today network were not involved with the creation of this content. Even though he said himself he's never paid for press, it looks like he has.
I get all my press either naturally or someone comes to me and asks me. I've never actually just paid outright for them.
And if he paid for these three, I'm willing to bet that he paid for the others as well. And this is even more ironic because of the fact that he sells press publication on his Gateway Agency website. I'll talk about that a little bit more when it comes to his business. And the Forbes article that he linked wasn't even in his favor. Honestly, it kind of made him sound stupid. Finally, there's his followers and his relationships.
So that one wasn't paid
important
for.
Because when we see someone with a lot of followers, we tend to think they're legitimate.
The deception exists because the large follower numbers trick our brains into giving out credibility naturally from the social proof. More followers means more credibility, right?
But I don't think Carter's...
Maybe I'm being baselessly optimistic, but I feel like that perception's starting to waver a bit. It used to be bigger number, trustworthy person. That used to be the rule, but I think with crypto and everything, it's kind of shaken everyone's faith in that concept. So I'm hoping that's changing, because it feels like it kind of is, slowly but surely. But maybe I'm just wrong in wanting to believe. He's a Prime Doyer, Shadow, and the Resub Hydra, and Troy. I like how the YouTuber is basically milking this guy's downfall for views and content. Why does everyone have to have like some kind of weird contrarian perspective on everything? This guy even said at the beginning, like, he was a very generous guy about this whole thing. He's just telling the story, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's just telling the story about this guy's hustle, which is a scam. It's so weird. What goes on in your mind to want to immediately take some kind of weird combative stance on someone just literally exposing a scammer? I don't get it. I actually don't understand it. It's just too easy to agree, so someone has to disagree even if they don't believe. I suppose, but I'm not here to be an armchair psychologist. I really just don't get it.
Botting his followers or faking his relationships with these people, I think that's all real, and he's achieved it through his business. So Carter's main business, Gateway Giveaways, is doing giveaways with rappers and other influencers. He uses a method called loop giveaways where he partners with popular people to give away items. Carter and probably others will spam DM people with details about the giveaway campaign. They show the estimated growth and how much it'll cost to buy into it. And the reason that someone would want to buy a spot is because when the celebrity announces the giveaway, they have a variety of steps to win. Typically, they'll point you towards another account, and then they'll tell you to follow everyone that account is following. That account will be following all of the investors, so in return for their money, they will be receiving thousands of real followers. So when he gets that investor money, he buys the items for the giveaways, flies out to meet the influencer or the rapper, takes some pictures with them to make his Instagram look better, takes pictures for the giveaway, pays the influencer, and keeps a ridiculous amount of money for doing little to nothing. It really is an infinite money glitch. And the giveaways themselves aren't necessarily scams. They're not against Instagram.
It's like a social media STD.
And I think he actually does give away the items. He might not, I'm not sure. I have seen people say they haven't gotten their stuff. That might not be true, but we have seen him choose who he partners with using some ethically questionable reasons.
It was Asian the Brat, who was King Von's girlfriend, And whenever he first passed away, obviously she was blowing up.
And he's also bragged about partnering with he's in
what an
jail,
interesting
photoshopping
tactic.
some PS5s onto a picture of him, so his business looks pretty shady. You can also buy into the loop giveaways on his website through his business gateway agency, and his business offers a variety of other overpriced services. For example, you can buy different press packages that offer articles and other sorts of
For the low cost of $8,000, you can get the musician package, which is a 15 article package. Oh, whoa, and I missed the... Oh, that's the low end. What the fuck? The $20,000 value is so much better. It even has the word cheaper. It's the market domination press package, which is 20 mid-tier press package. How are you supposed to gain clout without spending 20 grand on this package? Holy shit, wait, all the answers are right here. This is the key to success. He's giving away the keys to the kingdom. Holy fuck. And for the low cost of 20 grand?
press, like this Google Knowledge Panel package, which costs $6,500 when you can do it for free yourself. Then in the description, he has the nerve to say, you must have 20 other notable articles already wrote about you to receive this one, which is another lie. And then he tells you to buy a different press package before purchasing this one. When you buy these press packages, you're paying thousands of dollars for something that can be done for $100 to $300, which his friend says in an interview as he agrees.
For anyone listening, if you're looking for PR, you could essentially get an article written about you in New York Times. Now the salesman selling it to you, that article should be anywhere between $1 to like $300, but the salesman's going to try and sell it to you for $1,000.
Yeah.
He sells ad management, verification, websites, billboard advertisements, and more. And I'm going to take a random shot.
Why? Who is dumb enough to pay for a fucking billboard advertisement? Who in their right fucking mind is like, oh my god, the billboard package, I need it, I'm gonna blow up with a good billboard? I don't think a single human being of the last 10 years has looked at a billboard and actually signed up or even visited what it was advertising. Final Fantasy XIV fans. Oh, that one's actually an iconic controversy, though, to be fair. Where they put a billboard for, like, their porn party or whatever. Their pool party. Thanks, Arisa, Bowler, Flyer, and Jimbo. Andrew went to that, by the way. He wanted to check it out. Andrew told that whole story. Apparently, there was just, like, a guy with a tuba. Like, no one showed up except for, like, the people that organized it. And it was just a guy playing a tuba with sad music or something. Have I seen the QR code billboards? No, I can't say I have. Thanks at Prime. Sumis. No, a lot of people showed up. Maybe Andrew just got there after they had left because he said it was fucking empty. But it wasn't the billboard that brought the people there. It was a controversy because the billboard advertised a like private role-playing like sexy server, which the fans were upset with because it misrepresents their entire game. So it was a controversy because the billboard went up. If a lot of people showed up, it's because of that controversy, not that billboard. Thanks for 5 gift subs, Jason. Good to see you, man. Thanks to the resub, Geo.
Billboard advertisements, and more. And I'm going to take a random shot in the dark here and assume that he does not deliver on all these, and if he does, it isn't as advertised. Especially because apparently they only accept payments through Cash App, which is very sketchy. And I guess he also used to sell paid shoutouts on his Instagram and then just delete them right away after you paid for it, which probably didn't really make a difference because most of his Instagram followers are either inactive or fake. And if none of this convinced you that his business is shady, all of the gateway Instagram accounts have botted engagement as well. For example, this one has 250,000 followers with under 1,000 likes on their recent post. Or this one with 150,000 followers has a couple thousand likes on each post and then oops, 23 likes. Forgot to bot that one.
Ooh,
Even if this
unlucky.
engagement
Yeah,
isn't
that one's
botted,
rough.
it's done through the loop giveaways. And it goes to show that this so-called social media marketing guru is really just a liar and a fraud who creates an illusion to sell you his overpriced service. Especially since he's targeting a lot of rappers with his giveaways, he'll probably have a lot of wannabe artists following him, wanting to grow their fan base, so they end up purchasing his garbage service as well. Like I said, I can't confidently say that everything this guy is doing is a scam, and I don't have evidence for every single thing I've accused him of. All I can really say is at the very least he's very misleading and he's a liar. But the reason that I believe he is scamming when it comes to the giveaways and the influencer marketing is because he's been caught scamming before. Before Carter brought his scams to the rap community, he was exposed for being one of the masterminds behind Lana Rhoades' CryptoSys NFT rug pull, where her, Carter, and some others made off with $1.5 million in Ethereum.
It's crazy. Somehow, anytime there's a scam, it's like this interconnected web. Like, all of the scammers that currently exist have always existed, and they've been part of all the other scams we've followed. What a throwback. What another reoccurring character. Another season that they're making an appearance in, another cameo.
At the beginning of the year, Lana Rhoades, who, if you don't know, is a very popular influencer, began promoting her NFT project CryptoSys. There were 6,069 awful looking NFTs that were being marketed as an investment, and investors were promised that this was a long-term project with NFTs that were going to grow in value. Carter even said it himself.
Unlike other pump and dump projects, we don't just plan on stopping after minting, so we actually have to be able to fund all that stuff.
They were hyping it up so much to the point where multiple people even got tattoos of the NFT and they were reposting it. Personally, I can't imagine knowingly scamming people, watching them get tattoos of the NFT and reposting it. So
I'll tell you one thing, I can absolutely imagine that. If you're one of those absolute bumbling idiots that buys into CryptoSys and you feel so strongly about it, you get a tattoo on your fucking thigh of the CryptoSys logo, you deserve to be laughed at. The scammer at that point, I'm on the scammer side. Laughing at you is like the least they can do. You've earned that shit. That's a fat fucking L. My God. Everything else I disagree with the scammer on, but laughing at people that do that, I actually completely agree. Thanks for the 5 gift subs again, Jason. And the resub Mikhail, Mamba, and Tier 1 Dubs, and the resub Feels.
Minted or released it on January 22nd, and the following day they pulled out all of the money, which was about $1.5 million worth of Ethereum.
The money was drained out of this account one day post mint. $1.6 million was drained out of this mint for the NFTs one day after they sold the collection.
The reason that they did this is because apparently Lana's feelings got hurt by the negativity in the community, but obviously this was just an excuse to take the money. Tons of people in the community talked about this rug pull, so it's a pretty well-known scam, and somehow Carter still has a career. And this wasn't the first time that Lana had worked with Carter.
Hey guys, it's Lana. I've teamed up with Gateway Giveaways, and we're giving away all these great prizes. All that you have to do is follow the steps below.
Right now, Carter has other NFT projects like Billionaire Butterfly Club, which I'm assuming is
I was kind of right. He is doing crypto scams.
Rug pull type of deal. But in this instance, him and Ali Lottie used Juice WRLD's likeness for a trashy-looking NFT, hoping to bring them some attention. But he has one NFT project that is the worst of them all, and it's called Fraternity Apes Party.
Yeah, guys, this is the Fraternity Apes Party. Guys, everybody in this is in the highest level frat of the real life.
Fraternity Apes Party,
or FAT for
short, is an NFT project where the incentive isn't an investment, but it's that you could go to a cool party with tons of influencers and celebrities. And
that's worth it.
NFT can get in. I doubt any of the people there owned one of these awful-looking NFTs. They somehow even got the Nelk Boys to show up, but they probably paid them too.
Yeah,
and then they actually
somehow they got Steve Will Do It there. The guy notorious for literally accepting anything that has a dollar bill attached to it. It's a mystery to me how the fuck Nelk ended up there. This kid, I'll crack the code. I think I was right initially. This kid came from money, and he used that money to buy himself an advantage, to put himself in the position so he could scam people easily by presenting himself as a popular influencer. So he did the crypto scams with Lana Rhoades. He's doing the guru scams right now with the Gateway giveaways, and he's done, what, 2 other crypto-based scams with NFTs and shit? He's just one of those douchebags. Perpetually living in his father's shadow, can't make money on his own, so he uses that to his advantage by just pumping these shitty, awful scams. Seen it a million fucking times. Same story, different book. He's a tier 1 alabaster in the resub doc.
Like they were buds, which clearly wasn't the case.
This is fucking my mansion for you. You guys realize that? You guys are fucking savages, man. Metacards, man, I really appreciate you guys. Like, dude, you guys are fucking savages, man. I've been watching you guys for like fucking 5 years now.
No, you haven't. Why are you lying to them?
For real,
and
you guys
me.
are hilarious.
They also paid YBN Nimir to promote this, as if that's gonna help at all either. This is probably one of the worst NFT projects I've ever seen. Like, who thought that this was a good idea? And they even ruined Naruto. He doesnn't even wear a mask, and they give him a Sharingan, which just doesn't make any sense. So I'm assuming that this is just another attempted pump and dump with a different marketing strategy. So is Carter Jameson really a scammer? Well, since the thread that I mentioned earlier went live, Carter has privated or deleted some of his Twitters, and he had his Frat 8 friend Luke Lintz take down their podcast episode, making him seem especially guilty. And if he's willing to scam people out of $1.5 million, I'm gonna bet that that wasn't the first or last time he scammed someone. He's using rappers and other influencers' names to make him money and make him look good, just so he can funnel potential clients to his shady business. In reality, his business and identity online as a digital marketing professional is all a lie, fabricated by his fake press, fake engagement, and fake lifestyle. The rappers and the other people partnering with him, or more likely their management, should probably look a little bit more into who they're partnering with.
Why would they do that?
At the money they're going to receive, because then they end up associating with a bunch of scammers, which doesn't really make them look good.
Yeah, but their audience doesn't care. This was a great video. Good shit, Matty Balls. Yeah, I didn't know anything about this guy. This is an interesting story. Hold on, I want to look something up right now. This video is not very old, right? It's like 2 months old. Has he addressed this? What was his Instagram? The fuck was it? Carter? Was it just Carter Jameson? Not finding it. Did he delete it? Is this him? Oh, here he is. He's just posting random screenshots of some graphs and says client results. Here's a picture of him walking towards 2 Rolls Royce. Awesome. Here's him standing on a bridge. This is so dumb. So he hasn't said anything, I'm assuming. His whole Instagram is fucking rough. But yeah, it's just shit like this. It's just him holding money. I don't even think people buy his course, I'll just say it. I think people are not dumb enough to fall for someone like this. Because it's pretty blatantly obvious that it's not real. There's the Prime Bucket and the resub Derek, Rift Tracks, Breezy, Turbo, Soul, Juan, Bear, and the Prime Conan and Bucket. You'd be surprised. I guess, but his prices are outrageous. $8,000 all the way up to $20,000. Like, nobody can afford those packages. Like, the only people in his audience that might not be aware it's a scam are actual teenagers that are just blinded by, like, TikTok clout and an overwhelming, insatiable desire for attention. They can't afford $8,000 packages, and certainly not the $20,000 package. So, like, who the fuck is his audience? Or, rather, his clients. No one can afford that shit. You underestimate the stupidity of the average adult. I really don't. I feel like of most people in the world, I am usually pretty on the mark with how dumb people can be. This is just out of the price range of stupid people. And certainly out of the price range of stupid kids. Here's the resub Slippy. You were surprised by the age of CryptoZoo victims. I was very surprised by that. You are correct. That one did catch me off guard. I wouldn't have expected adults to be in the Logan Paul audience, let alone falling for a Logan Paul NFT project. But that was a low barrier of entry for them. This is an extremely high barrier, especially for very little return. Thanks for the resub, Corey. Oh, I want to look up Carter Jameson. He has so many articles written about him, apparently, that he's paid for. Does he give information on his upbringing? Because I just know for a fact this kid comes from an extremely privileged upbringing. That's where all of the money must come from. Meet the 18-year-old who's the CEO of a successful social media agency. And then right underneath that, this is paid for by the advertiser. Ah, so it's trustworthy then, huh? Surely this will be an unbiased look at his story. Let's see. More than the stunning content, he wanted to explore the algorithm that leads the influencers to a staggering number of followers. After 6 years of grinding with Instagram, Jameson was finally successful in decoding the algorithm to earn over 1 million followers. He decoded it? He was in the mainframe? And then he found the secret, which is his daddy's credit card to buy bots. Little botted followers. Fucking genius. Holy shit, this guy's good. He's a savant. He's like the Mozart of Instagram. Damn, nothing about his past. Oh, Lord, he has his own website. Oh, I forgot. It was even covered in the Matty Balls video. I accidentally clicked on it. Ugh. Oh, even his website is so revolting. So the first things on here is, who is Carter Jameson? 19-year-old entrepreneur, founder, Gateway. Grew a monetized network of Instagram pages, millions of followers. And then the third one, made 40 to 80 grand a year as a 15-year-old, which led to starting the agency named Gateway. Ugh. Oh, here we go. Is this... No. Nothing's known about this kid except for what he pays for in these articles. Unlucky. Shame. Thanks to the resub, Kaka and Grun and Lightning. Because he never did anything. Well, no. I just wanted to know about, like, his parents. Like, usually in these kind of cases, they always try to be that person that pulls themselves up by their own bootstraps. Like, I came from nothing. My dad was a normal blue-collar worker, just a true red-blooded American patriot working 2 jobs to put food on the table for me and my 6 brothers. And my mom also had to work night shifts down at the local cemetery. Like, I don't know. Usually just like some kind of sob story. So that people like relate to it somehow and like put him on a pedestal of, wow, he did it himself. But he didn't even bother with that step. Do all scammers usually come from a rich family? I wouldn't say all of them. That'd be a disservice to say all of them. But I would argue a good 85 to 90% of all scammers do come from a very privileged background. At least in the digital age. Thanks a resub. Peyton Ambrodos, Squirt, and JP. Oh, your name's not Squirt at all. SPR. In the Bits quiz, in the Prime. Ginger Bear and Sumi. I think it's the tier 1 Tommy. Of course I'm gonna play Silk Song when it comes out. Only a wealthy kid would have money to waste on bullshit advertising. No, not even that. He didn't spend anything on advertising. He just botted followers. But you needed money to buy those followers, and it's not cheap. That's actually the same strategy that Travis Scott used. Travis Scott, in his very beginning, bought followers on his Spotify in order to artificially inflate his popularity so he could sell himself to record labels and then actually organically grow from there. So yeah, having money is a good way of starting your career, I suppose. Like, who would have guessed? Yep, that's how Travis Scott popped off. I think it's a tier 1 Screef. Was it SoundCloud or Spotify? I think it was SoundCloud. Why is buying followers a bad thing? What? Is that even a question you really need to ask? Why is buying followers a bad thing? There's like 18 different ways of tackling that one. I don't even think it's worth going down there. It should be very obvious. Thanks to the resub Odin and Sierra. Thanks to the resub Natty. I think it's a tier 1 Willow. And the resub Superhead. It was X who botted followers? You talking about Lil Nas X? No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe he did as well. That I don't know. But I remember reading from Travis Scott's former manager that he was the one that actually had to make the purchases for Travis Scott after being paid for the followers. He made a whole series of TikToks on it. I know Travis Scott also did some fuck shit with contracts and everything and screwing people over, but his start was botted followers. I think it's a tier 1 dictionary. There's a new SpongeBob horror game. I haven't heard of it. I can check it out. Not tonight, though. I'm going to do Dark and Darker again.